to cast it into proper legal shape. I shall sit here while you do so.
You can understand my astonishment, Mr. Holmes, when I found that, with some minor reservations, his entire estate had been left to me. But I simply don't understand.
Well, then, let me explain. I'm a bachelor, Mr. MacFarlane, with few relatives, and none who deserve my consideration.
Well, that may well be so,
Let me finish.
I beg your pardon.
For many years now, I have withdrawn from my business. I was a builder, and though I say it myself, an extremely successful one. Successful enough to have gained considerable wealth and thus live out my life in complete, if solitary, comfort. Many years ago, I knew your mother. Knew her and hoped to marry her. Then she met and married your father.
I had no idea.
Oh, then why should you? 3 months ago, I read of your father's death in the Daily Telegraph, and my mind was turned to your mother and to the son who might very well have been my own. This is my way of securing your future. I know that whatever I leave will be in worthy hands.
What can I say? But thank you.
There are a few documents I think you should see: building leases, title deeds, mortgages, and so on. Well, now my mind's made up, I shan't rest easy until the whole thing's settled.
Yes, of course.
I beg you to come to my house tonight. What should we say, 9 o'clock?
Why, yes.
You'll, of course, bring the finalised will, and then we can settle the matter once and for all.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, my boy. Oh, one last thing. Not a word of this to your dear mother until everything is settled. I want it to be a little surprise for her.
Little?
You promise?
You have my word. I left in good time for my appointment, but had difficulty in finding the house, so that it was nearly past before I reached it. Good evening. I have an appointment with Mr. Oldacre.
Mr. MacFarlane?
Yes, that's right. It was not the warmest of receptions, and the house itself had a peculiar, unloved feeling.
Sorry to keep you waiting, my boy.
Not at all, sir. I'm a little late, I'm afraid.
You brought the papers?
Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
The bedroom was on the ground floor, where there was a large safe.
Bring the rest of those papers, my boy. Now, to business. All done?
Yes, sir. All done.
Just seen the time, my boy. You must get home.
Oh, thank you. I had a stick with me.
Ah, I wonder where she put it.
Rather a heavy walking stick. It belonged to my father.
Never mind. I'll take good care of it until we meet again. After all, I shall be seeing a great deal of you now, I hope.
Indeed you shall, sir. I left him there. The safe was open, and the documents were on his desk. It was too late to go back to Blackheath, and so I spent the night at an hotel in Norwood. I knew nothing more of this horrible affair until this morning.
Do you have the original draft of the will that Oldacre brought you?
Why, yes, I have it here.
May I retain this for 24 hours, Inspector?
If it would amuse you. Well, anything more you'd like to ask, Mr. Holmes?
Not until I've been to Blackheath.
You mean Norwood?
No doubt that is what I must have meant.
Now, Mr. MacFarlane, my constable's at the door. There's a four-wheeler waiting. Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
There are certain points about this document, are there not, Watson?
Well, I can read the first two lines, and these in the middle of the second page, and one or two at the end. I mean, they're as clear as print, but the writing in between is very bad, and there are several places where I can't read it at all.
What do you make of that?
What do you make of it?
That it was written on a train. The good writing represents stations, the bad writing movement, and the very bad writing.
Passing over the point.
A scientific expert would pronounce at once that it was drawn up on a suburban line, since nowhere, save in the immediate vicinity of a great city, could there be so quick a succession of points. Granting that his whole journey was occupied in drawing up the will, then the train must have been an express, stopping only once between Norwood and London Bridge.
Yes, but it's curious, is it not, that a man should draw up so important a document in so haphazard a fashion?
Yes, it suggests that he thought it was going to be of no practical importance.
Well, he drew up his death warrant at the same time.
This case is not clear to me. Come, Watson.
Where are we going, Norwood?
No! Blackheath!
Come!
My son's the gentlest creature on God's earth. It's inconceivable he could even contemplate such a terrible crime. He didn't even know the man, Mr. Holmes.
But you did, Mrs. MacFarlane.
Years ago, I'd forgotten that he ever existed. Tried to forget. It's impossible to quite forget a man like Jonas Oldacre. Yes, I knew him well. At one time we were engaged to be married.